Your son is an Icarus who flew too close to the sun. I have to look good. I have to look really good for this. I have to look great. Because what if there's like a potential that millions of people see this? Or billions. Or billions of bots. I gotta look good for the bots. Yeah. I'm good for the bots. Plus, I mean, I think it adds a shady thing. I don't know. I don't know if my skin is as calm. Anyways, the point of the story is he flew too close to the sun. How do you know when to be an eagle, an idea eagle, an idea eagle, and how do you know when to swoop? So, how do you know when you're in the idea space up here in the heavens? How do you know when to send your son to the earth to be the example? That's a good play on the Bible of setting up the story and then you do it. So I guess it's like planning. Um, God is so good because his plans are awesome. You can just learn so much. And so, how do you know when to swoop down and attack? Because Dabo Sweeney said football is 99% or 97% planning and 3% performance because they plan the whole week and then Sunday hits. For them, it's Saturday hits and Saturday hits and they're playing, but it's only for 4 hours or 3 hours, maybe 16 minutes of just actual play time. So it's like crazy, like 99.7% planning and then 0.3% actual performance is when you get down to the brass tacks. And so how do you know when your ideas, because a lot of the times I find myself, oh, I've got an idea for this, I've got an idea for that, because I mean I can come up with video ideas like nothing, I mean, and I'm flying way too close to the sun because at the end of the day is if I don't actually do any of it, it all goes to toil, it all goes to vanity, it's all an empty breath and a wasted thought. I don't know if it's wasted because right now I'm kind of spitting, dropping a little bit of nuggets so that I can one day have an assembly line of idea generators and example executables, because that's really the name of the game is having those executables, because and getting down to the cost benefit analysis of actually getting in the trenches, like, because you find that the more financial savvy people in the world, and the more CEOs in the world, and the more people up top are the idea generators, are the vision casters, are the people up here, and they communicate their message to the people down here. And it's not because I fall into the temptation of the do-it-yourself model, and it's good and all, but doing it yourself is doing it alone and slow. And so if you communicate a plan properly, if you it, it'll be it might not turn out to what you originally thought, but that's the beauty of life, is you're guiding it with communication to bring forth the message. And as long as that core principle is passed on, and then passed on without you having to pass it on more, like, hey, go look at this, but then the message will be passed on. Or, hey, did you see that video about that? Boom, the message is passed on. But how do you know when to attack? How do you know when to put it down? And how do you know that you're the bottom level at first? You're the AI generator, you're the do-it-yourselfer. How do you know when to, I mean, because a lot of the time, it's you on the boat alone in the journey until you make enough splash, until you make enough noise, until you reach the harbor and you start generating, you start saying, you come with me, and you display your message, and they start coming with you, and then you're boating, your ship, your crew grows, and then one day you're on a armada, who is controlling the sea. But that didn't start with instantly. You weren't given it. You had to work your way through it in the idea generator. And so how do you know when to start? And so if you have a network of people, if you have a group of friends, that's a simpler way to say it, that all focus on the one thing, and that's really what your friends should be, is focusing on that one category, and y'all are working together. That is a lot. That is when you can do it and you set a plan. I mean, that's when you have to do it, right? So when do you like, oh, I want to build a website. When do you actually get the coding? Okay, if you're a little older, you have to survive, and hopefully you have a time and place where you can stop consuming and start producing. And this is a producing thing. Um, and so um, if you're younger, you have a lot more time, because in high school, oh my goodness, it's just all about this generation. You're in the works. You are able to mostly able to start generating your ideas, start being in the groundwork, and building your network in a way. We're building your friends so that you can work on projects together and do what you need to do. So how do you know when to do that? How do you know um, is the key. When and maybe, the eye of the eagle sees its prey, finds the right time to attack and goes. But the key is that it attacks. It's not always flying. Sometimes it's on the branch, waiting and looking and observing, and then then it goes up into the air and swoops down and attacks. Unless it's a bird attack, then it's a dog fight. It's a modern day dog fight. So it takes proper planning. Then, in that proper planning, there is an executable, so that you can actually get in the dirt and perform really well. Bring it your best. Don't be a perfectionist. Have that mentality, but don't let the perfectionist in you stop the project. You need to have an executable to get out of that, to deliver it. You need to have an executable here. So let's just say you're planning. So you're planning, and right here you have an executable. Boom. Executable hits. You're going down to the dirt. You're actually typing. You're actually writing. You're actually um, speaking. Because most of the time it's writing. It's some version of writing, some version of taking the idea to paper, or some mode of journal, and then from that plan goes. And so it's like you're here. The action of the idea is to take it to paper. Then the action of paper is to take it to performance. And if that performance is producing a book, is writing a code, is editing a video, is baking a cake, is, making something, crafting something, then it's right here. And then, in your plan is to establish an executable down here, so you publish your work. Because if you never publish your work, you're never going to you're always going to have empty projects, and you're never going to be satisfied because you never finish what you say you're going to do. And so that's the idea is, how do you know when you have this executable? How can you plan for this executable in that package? And when you're here, you're doing your best, you're trying to be perfect, but you know that you can't be perfect. So then at some point in time, you've reviewed it twice, you've sent it to someone else thrice, that's 3 times reviewed, final edit, boom. So I mean, measure twice, cut once. Measure twice, have someone else look at it from a different perspective, cut once. Then go to the next thing. Obviously, this is for if you're on a job site, I mean, technically the observation person has entrusted you to measure twice, but they've already looked at it once. So the name of the game is have the eye of the tiger, have the eye of the eagle, and know when to shoot, but know when to get out of that trench too, because that's the goal. Because it comes back to it, because once you review it, you'll need to review it so you can see what part of the process you need to learn, what part of the chaos, what part of the control was chaotic, so that you can iron that out. Be the eagle.